Hello besties, this week we are doing the Caramel Apple Tumbler tutorial with a rhinestone drip. But before then, let me welcome you to our YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us on all our social medias under Misfit Makers and click that subscribe button so you'll be notified of any new content. Also, check out our website and our Patreon. Okay, so I started off with a wine tumbler in the color red. I spray painted, let it dry, and now I'm using the epoxy method to apply my glitter. I mixed about 5 mLs of epoxy using Fast Set from CCDIY. I'm not going to be using the full 5 mLs. I just never mix anything less just to ensure that my mixture is right and it cures well. So you want to get a really thin coat of epoxy on here. If it's dripping, then you put too much. It has to be hard to move around. So here I am using Peachy Olives red in the color Bloodline, or is it Blood Strip or Bloodline? I can't remember. I will post it in the description of the supply list in our Patreon, or if you're watching on YouTube, it will be in the description of the video. Okay, so you want to cover it fully. As you see here, you're gonna let it cure really well, and then we're going to go ahead and epoxy it. Here it has 1 coat of Fast Set epoxy from CCDIY, and look at that red, look at that shine. So beautiful. Make sure to pop all your bubbles as well after you apply epoxy using a torch. So here we are. This is 1 coat of epoxy. I am going to go ahead and lightly sand. Remember guys, it only has 1 coat of epoxy, so you don't want to over sand and scratch off your glitter or go too far and just completely destroy your glitter. Okay, so this is the decal that I'm using. I created it using Canva, and I printed it off on 651 vinyl using my laser printer. Make sure you check your printer, making sure that you can print on vinyl, or you can always print on printable vinyl. The other thing I like to do, I like to hand cut most of my decals, especially if they're like a pretty easy shape like this. But it leaves a white little corner, as you see, or outer lining. So I like to use a Sharpie in the color of my decal there, and I'm using brown, and that way it covers any white lining and it looks very clean and beautiful. So I'm going to apply that on there nice and centered, and then I'm going to epoxy it 1 or 2 more times until it is nice and smooth. Remember, before we put on our rhinestones, it has to be completely done. You have to be done with epoxy and process because rhinestones are the last step. Also, besties, if you're interested in this decal, it will be available for our besties in our exclusive mentorship group. So if you're not part of our mentorship group, make sure to join. That's one of the perks. You get little extras. So anyway, this little decal is included in our mentorship besties group and will be uploaded there. Okay, so after you have your decal on there, you want to get 1 or 2 last coats of epoxy just to make sure that it's nice and smooth and ready for the rhinestones. And look at that shine. Of course, I've used CCDIY's Artist Resin or Fast Set as well. Okay, so I'm using Super Tight. I'm using some beautiful stones, and of course my crystal katana to apply my stones. So I am going for like that upside down caramel look. So my drip is going to come from the bottom, kind of like the apples, you know, sit on the little wax paper. The drip is from the bottom up. I don't know. That's the look I wanted to go for, but if you prefer your drip coming from the top, you can absolutely do that as well. I just wanted to give it a different look. I've seen the epoxy dripped caramel tumblers, and I love those, and I thought maybe a rhinestone one would look cute as well. I completely free-handed my drips, but you can absolutely create a template if you want, or you can just freehand it like me. As you see, I'm adding a little bit at a time, a little bit of glue at a time, using a little silicone spatula, and then applying my stones with my katana. with this glue, it doesn't dry immediately, so you can still kind of shift it around a little bit. And I'm just gonna make my way around the tumbler, giving it a nice caramely drippy look. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do this, and if you prefer to do your drip from the top, it's fine as well. Or if you want to do epoxy, absolutely as will look great as well. Or if you want to do a green apple instead of a red apple, that would look really neat as well. So anyway, I hope you like this tutorial. I hope this inspired you to make your own caramel apple drip tumbler, whether it be red or green. But look how this cutie looks. I am so obsessed with it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and it inspired you to create your own. Make sure to check out all our other tutorials on our YouTube and also any other tutorials in our Patreon. So here she is, looking all cute. Remember, rhinestones are always the last step on any rhinestone project on a tumbler. So here it is in all her glory. And make sure to post all your creations on our Facebook group. Thank you to all our Patreon members. Thank you for your continued support. And make sure you subscribe and follow our YouTube channel for any upcoming videos. See you guys next week.